Oh, we might as well talk about it. But real quick, I would ask. So, obviously, there's no set answer to this, but just out of curiosity, do you think that the Praetor Path could absorb? Obviously, probably not the intangibility, but do you think it could absorb like the swirly jutsu? It's like hypothetically, Kakashi tried to Kamui the Praetor Path's arm. Could the Praetor Path just absorb the swirl?
I don't think so. Because okay, so it's not really ever explained to us how the chakra interacts with space. But the most logical explanation is like Kakashi is activating chakra in his eyeball and then putting it on a certain point of space, and on that point in space connecting it to the other dimension with chakra. So there should be chakra in that space. But the TSOs directly are stated to counter ninjutsu by yin and yang styles, and they do that by presumably countering the chakra. Like they nullify ninjutsu by nullifying chakra more likely than not. So if the TSOs don't nullify it, despite having like a nullify property, I don't think that the Praetor Path would be able to absorb it. You could say maybe.
It's tough because that one has like a different function in how it does it. So that's what makes it tricky. Like,
yeah, it's weird for sure. I think that like it would come down to like the speed of it. If you say that it can do that, then it would be like, okay, can it do it fast enough? You know?
Yeah.
Which would be really difficult to
it's difficult to say because like the Praetor Path will absorb certain jutsu faster than others anyway. So
yeah, but then you have the conundrum of, okay, well, Obito has yin and yang styles. Madara specifically says he's going to teach him everything that he knows in order to like make him into Madara. Tobirama is the one who says Jubito is using yin and yang styles to nullify ninjutsu. So this is something that was going on during Tobirama's era and therefore probably Madara's era. If Madara knows yin yang styles, he uses yin yang styles to produce the black chakra rods. He specifically says that. Then is it not possible that he might just have some kind of like basic ninjutsu nullification ability? Because if you want to go to, let me think about this. Should be chapter when Madara gets hit with the Amaterasu. Should be chapter like 659, 660.
Yeah, Oodie, there was something that we said was either Sage or Thunder God who said something. You didn't remember which.
Okay, well, let's let Sage do his thing really quick on chapter 660, and then we'll go to that because I want to go to that too, Kamui.
I've been wanting to, but what's the Amaterasu thing, or is that something?
It's 657. I'm sorry, 657. So
I don't know what I'm looking
this
for.
This is commonly when Madara gets hit with this Amaterasu.
Okay, I'm looking at that. Yeah.
You see there, and like, so you see it's on his shoulder there in that left panel. See, it looks like it's like on his arm, on like his other arm, right? But it just disappears. Right? So, a lot of people have pointed to him using chakra absorption at this point in time. But scroll up. This is Madara. Keep going, keep scrolling up. This Madara, keep going. Should not have chakra absorption, keep going. Because he's blind. He doesn't have eyeballs. So, either he has his Rinnegan like Praetor Path absorption without eyeballs, or he nullifies the Amaterasu. We find out literally like it should be in like 643-ish, 644 maybe. That's when Tobirama makes this statement about, go 644. He makes a statement about the jutsu nullification. Oh no, this is a little bit too late. Maybe go back to 643. I apologize. It's whenever he notices. Maybe try going back up. It's when he notices that his arm hasn't recovered.
Okay.
Right. Keep going.
Right after Obito like regains his sanity. So try like 641 or 2 or something. Maybe.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Maybe go back one chapter. It's in here somewhere, promise.
The Truth Seeker orbs and the black rods are
Here we
Kamui's
go.
whole shtick. So
Yep, here we go. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
This is where he realizes it. There we go. Should have been swollen around by now. Blah blah blah. Keep
we
going.
had an arm torn off right here.
It's literally right after this.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell me. There we go. I suspect this guy is using jutsu based on shadow and light styles that nullify all ninjutsu.
Yeah.
So we find out 15 chapters earlier that yin and yang styles are capable of nullifying ninjutsu. Then Madara loses his eyes, gets hit with an Amaterasu. We see it on his body, and then the Amaterasu's just gone. And we know that he has yin and yang styles because he teaches them to Obito, directly stated. So it's like, okay, well, now we have a decent basis to say that maybe these guys have some basic level of ninjutsu nullification. And if that's the case, then why can't Obito nullify the Predapath's absorption? I know that's a big stretch, but it's like it's not unreasonable to assume that he has something that would allow for him to do that. Like, this is late hours with Sage. We're getting into the nitty gritty stuff here and the conspiracy theories.
Oodie, do you want to stick on the Amaterasu thing for a little bit, just because we had talked about that
Yeah, sure.
a month ago
So
or whatever?
I'll be honest, especially in the anime, it just made clear it's just not on Madara. It's just only on the armor that he's shedding off, and this insert panel in the manga, in my opinion, is just telling. Now, Sage, I'll be honest. I'm the Madara's #1 supporter. I want him to be as cool as possible. This would be the perfect thing. I would love to give him this, but just being honest, I don't think that's what's happening here. Though I'm totally down for that being what's happening here. I want
this is what convinces me of this. Like, the placement of the flames in that right panel doesn't make any sense if they're coming off of those the clothing. But then in the left panel, like, his armor is to his right. There's no reason why that Amaterasu wisps should be there.
So that that's why it's weird. But there are two more things to consider. One is, I actually like this and if we're gonna give it an explanation that's just like related to this, that's way better than jutsu absorption. He's not absorbing Amaterasu. Let's just say that. Okay, get that out the window. But there's so first of all, nobody comments on it, which is odd. Like, if Kishimoto was going for hey, Madara's using yin yang style to nullify ninjutsu here, just like the Obito, you would think one character or a data book panel or someone would mention this, but they don't. The next thing is
sorry, go back.
If you go back,
I was gonna go to a thing, but
okay. So if you especially look at the right side panel here, hilarious as this may seem, especially the one at the top left is the best one to look at. That's just not touching Madara. I know it's stupid, but it's just these Amaterasus aren't touching him. The one in the left could just be in front of him based off that, but like, they're not touching him, and heat rises. Who's to say they didn't just float away from him?
So here's the thing. So I think just based on where the wisp is in that left panel, I feel like it's more likely that that's on him. But here's the thing. If we're coming down to jutsu absorption or jutsu nullification, here's the thing that people always point to that I think like leads people to believe that it's jutsu absorption, despite him not having the Rinnegan. Scroll up one page. Look what Naruto says. He has the ability to absorb ninjutsu. So that's the thing that but
then he proceeds to clearly not do it.
Yes, that's my thing. It's like Naruto is saying this, but it's just like I was talking to Six about this yesterday. When Kurama says that the FTG seal that Naruto that there was an FTG seal interwoven into the tetragram seal in Naruto, that's probably not true, but we know that there was one interwoven into Kushina. We know that while he's being extracted from Kushina, Obito's talking about it. So Kurama has every reason to believe that that would be the case with Naruto, despite the fact that Minato doesn't teleport to Naruto to get to the battlefield, right? Like, it makes no sense. for him to have an FTG marking in his seal and Minato not to teleport to him.
Yeah.
In
I
fact,
don't even know where
he
that's
throws.
coming from.
Yeah. So there is a, I believe it's 653. Or no, it can't be 653. Well, maybe it is.
Make another dab here.
Real quick about the
No,
jutsu
it's definitely not.
It's also worth noting that Naruto doesn't even know that Madara is Rene Rebirth yet when he says that. So he still just thinks it's Edo Tensei Madara who could absorb ninjutsu.
So it's 663. I'm sorry. If you go to 663, you'll be able to see where Kurama makes that statement.
Yeah, for Kamui real quick, whereas that makes sense for Naruto in that moment, I don't think Kishimoto would have written it like that. It just not made the characters correct.
But then if he's gonna write that, why doesn't he have Madara clearly absorb the jutsu?
Yeah.
Every other time he clearly absorbed jutsu.
This is where I pull this up, and there's no clear examples of this, but whenever you're like waving around a torch, obviously, like here, I'll just draw it. I don't know. It's apparently YouTube hates me for finding videos. So you have the torch. Let's just say the torch is here. Obviously, you got the flames going up here or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. But if you start waving it around, the fire source, the thing that the fire's coming from, it's going to be going all over the place. So like if you pause the video, it's the flame source is going to be over here. The torch end is here, but the fire is still going to be here because it just lags behind. It's basically going to like be like that. But that's to say, bringing it back to going back to this. Obviously, if it's on the armor, which is on Madara, and Madara puts his armor to the side, it would make sense if the flames that are rising are going to be above Madara still. That's where the flame source was.
My thing is, though, like, if you look at, you have to zoom in really heavy on that middle panel right above that.
This one?
Like, the middle, that one right there. That armor is directly to his right.
I hate when it does that. I'll just unzoom when we're done.
I hate when it does that too. It pisses me off. Like, that armor is directly to his right. So, and like, there's no sign of like the wisps being blown around by the wind. Like, they're not like changing direction or anything. They're kind of just like traveling upward. And it makes sense for some to like be on his right side. But the ones that are like on his arm that like wouldn't have been covered by armor, or the ones that's like on the one that's like on his shoulder blade, especially that one that's like would be in front of him and to the left of his body, like those just don't make sense to me. But that being said, I also think the reaction from Hashirama there with exclamation question mark, what's that? Exclamation question mark, right?
Well, I think that's definitely in reference to this.
Yeah. He's like,
I will say though, a point in favor of the yin yang release thing is that while Madara is obviously mainly talking about the fact that, like, yes, I stole Hashirama's cells, that's why I've got your face on my chest. I will say, yin and yang release is coming from these two powers, yang coming from Senju, yin coming from Uchiha. If he was using yin yang release in the same scene that he's talking about these powers coming together and blah, 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 that would be fitting. And that would work well narratively, in fact.
Dude, that's actually a great catch.
I just think that they should have emphasized it more clearly and had someone mention it.
It's operating together that gives rise to all things in this universe. The creation of all things is a yin-yang ability, bro. Let's go.
I love that.
And so is the jutsu nullification, so are the black rods, like all these things that he's using. So it would work better. Like, this would be the best thing for them to do. But it would just be better if they had, like, I don't know, a whoosh word as the wisps are going away, or a character saying he absorbed them, or he nullified the flames, or something, just to make that clear. But they don't, which is where it's kind of like, okay, is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Or not? And if you're an anime-only viewer, like when I was at first for this scene, bro just took off the Amaterasu via the armor, and that was
And then he says, you said true evidence can be found to cooperate. Like, that's what he says. I interpret it differently, right, Hashirama? So, like, obviously he's talking about, like, pairing his blood with Here we go. Those who obtain blessing, it's happiness, or well, support is complete. I haven't read through this part in a minute. I just want to see if there's anything that like gives any more credence to that because I never caught the. I don't think so. I think he just blitzes after this. Yeah.
He just rod strengthen then blitzes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that being said, that's been a little theory of mine that I like. Also interesting that he like uses some kind of crazy body flicker here. But yeah, so what was the thing that you guys wanted to bring up? Or did you guys want to talk about
I don't remember. I just remember there was a thing we were talking about that Oodie said it was either Sage or Thunder God who said something, and that's all I remember. I tried to look for it earlier, I couldn't find it. So,
do you mean a
yeah,
reference to
you
the
for that.
Amaterasu thing? Because that's what we just talked about. That's what that was.
Okay, then never mind.
Oh yeah, it might have been me talking because I know I've mentioned it on videos that like he could have been nullifying the ninjutsu there.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned it in one video actually. But also what's interesting about the chakra absorption is like you can see it there. It like it has this like bubble effect.
Exactly.
And then when
Like Yoroi.
when you scroll to the like you filthy beasts one, and you can see it like in the wide shot as well there. But whenever he's
or you mean like in the Filthy Beast?
Well, yeah, in both of them you can see it. There we go. And look at his foot.
His foot, yeah.
Like the same bubble thing happens both with Hashirama's chakra and with the Nine-Tails chakra. So it's not bubbling because it's the Nine-Tails chakra. So like his absorption does kind of like take this kind of effect and have that sound effect. So I think it makes it less likely that this is absorption. Even if it is absorption, I think this kind of helps the case of the nullification where you get a visual indicator and an audible indicator whenever he uses his absorption. Whereas he has this whole soliloquy about both sides coming together. We know jutsu nullification is an application of yin and yang releases. It's like, dude, like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then also, I don't know if he does anything like this when he says this later on, but when he's talking to Naruto and Sasuke, he's like, "This is the final fight. You have one power, you have the other. I have both of them."
Yeah.
And being
he just classes hands together. He's not doing any jutsu thing in that scene, but
he does limbo replacement. I still hate that he said this is the final battle and then proceeded to fight them for like 2 pages. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Say that when you come back or don't.
Well, it was their final battle.
Oh no!
I actually think Madara is like criminally underrated. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big Madara fan.
Yeah, got a lot. Of
I've been hesitant. I've been hesitating to do a short on this, like talking about the potential jutsu nullification. But I've been thinking about doing that. I just don't know how well it's going to be received.
well, okay, just on this in particular, I will say the bubble effect, that's obviously clearly, based on the color at least, it's just Kurama's chakra around his foot because he's absorbing it, rather than this being something that Madara is doing. With the Hashirama example, it could be Hashirama's chakra, or it could be the same thing that Yoroi was doing against Sasuke, where he just had this blue aura on his hand and then he touched Sasuke.
Well,
I mean,
so
either way,
if you go up to it, and you can see in the last panel on page 5 and the first panel on page 6. So last panel on page 5, well, right there, yeah. So he doesn't have anything on his hand in that middle panel, and then like once he starts absorbing the senjutsu, he has it. And then if you scroll down in the wide shot, there we go. He still has that bubble effect. So like when he absorbs chakra, like in general, it has this weird bubble effect. So I think even if Kurama's chakra wasn't naturally bubbly, it would still make this type of effect, unless you assume that like, which I think this could be fair, that Hashirama's chakra like resembles that of a Bijou. Like I don't think that's crazy. But it does seem to be the case. And then also, if you scroll back up, there is an audible like onomatopoeia indicator there, like with the like pink, purple or whatever. So you get that, and then if you go down to the other one at the end of this chapter, I think it's the same thing, the same ZWW. Yep, there it is, ZWW on the right side there.
Yep. Okay, I'm really curious. I want to check the Yoroi fight, which chapter's up.
At the same scene, adding on to that, he's getting a healing effect in the same scene where that's happening when he's standing on Kurama's chakra there. His arm's healing.
It's pretty gangster.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
Japanese.
so I mean, at the very least, I think
it's like.
I mean that alone pretty much just disproves Jutsu. It's like in the same chapter, a couple pages later, they're
71.
emphasizing when he's doing absorption related things. They're not doing with Amaterasu, so it's not that.
Yeah,
I mean, either have to be
67, dude.
It flew away with the armor or Jutsu nullification. Those are the only two answers. It's not absorption.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Yoroi's doesn't have the bubble effect.
Definitely not bubbly.
It's flamey.
Yeah.
But to be
it's
fair,
also
though,
blue in the anime, not red. I didn't even realize it was.
Well, this
red
is the
in
color
this
manga, so I don't think
manga.
that really counts.
I know, but still.
Well, also to be fair, the when Orochimaru makes his statement here, I think it's. See, yeah, keep going.
It'll be soon.
Orochimaru makes it right there.
There you go.
He says, Yoroi's unholy gift is to absorb another's chakra. But then he says, it's a brilliant art where simply pressing his palm against the hand of his opponent, or palm of his hand against his opponent's body, gives him the ability to consume their mental and physical energies. So not only is he referring to mental and physical energies together colloquially as chakra, despite the fact that they're not actually chakra unless they're blended together in a particular way, but he absorbs his quote-unquote chakra by drawing on directly his mental and physical energies. That wouldn't be what Madara is doing, because when he's absorbing the Nine Tails cloak, that is just chakra in its complete form. And then when he's absorbing the Senjutsu is chakra. Like it's not like physical and mental energies separately. It's its own thing after you combine those three things. So, yeah, I mean, it could just be the difference between absorbing the two energies individually, separately, versus absorbing actual like complete chakra in its complete form. Like that could produce the bubble effect.